Today we're comparing the Fifine K688 microphone and the Fifine SC1 audio interface. It doesn't say that on the box, but that's what I got told it was called. Anyway, we're comparing these with my Shure SM7B microphone and my Universal Audio Apollo interface. If you are familiar with any of this gear, you might already know that the Shure SM7B and the Apollo interface are very expensive. The Fifine gear is not very expensive. The company reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to make a video about their products. I'm not getting paid to make a video, but I do get to keep these. And I agreed because I'm always recommending cheap interfaces and microphones to many of my students. And so I was curious as to whether or not these might actually be good choices that I can recommend to people in the future. So what I'm going to do is set up my laptop with the Fifine interface and microphone, and then use my Mac Studio, which already has the Apollo and the SM7B connected, and try and record exactly the same thing at the same time in both systems. That way, we'll be able to compare and see whether or not there's actually a meaningful difference in sound. I actually waited till I was making this video to unbox these, so this is my first time looking at them as well. All right, what have we got? User guide and the microphone. The dials on it feel okay. There's a headphone jack on the microphone and a USB-C. It feels light, feels like it's made out of metal. It says the windshield can be removed by gently pulling. There is our microphone capsule. We'll just pop that back on. This is apparently an LED indicator whether it's muted or not, and apparently you tap it to mute or unmute it. So that's handy, I guess. We have another USB cable. It appears to be quite long. That's actually kind of handy. Oh. I was gonna be hating on the fact that this is this kind of USB, but it's actually it's actually got a detachable adapter. I've never seen that before. That's kind of cool, huh? And a microphone stand boom arm adapter. Cool. Let's take a look at the interface. Another user guide. Do we have another one of these? Oh, this is great. So this is the interface. Right off the bat, it feels very light. This doesn't feel like metal. Pretty sure this is metal. This doesn't feel like metal. This feels like plastic, which concerns me a little bit. These knobs don't feel as good as the ones on the back of the microphone. Right off the top of my head, I am not sure of the exact price of this or this. I might just do it blind though. I might just not look up the price until after I've tested it. Buttons feel okay. Got a combo jack here. It looks plasticky. Doesn't feel anywhere near the build quality of Focusrite stuff, for example, but I think it is a hell of a lot cheaper. So depending on what the price is later, we'll see how we feel about it. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna reset my desk and get my laptop set up as well. This interface is just bus powered. We have power. All right, let's start testing this microphone. We are going to use the USB input first. When you do this, it shows up on your computer as an interface on its own. I want to also note before we record anything that on my SM7B, which I'm recording into here, I'm running this noise gate at all times. If I turn this noise gate off, you can now hear my air conditioning unit running in the background. So that's a thing. Noise gate on, no air conditioning unit running in the background. So for the purposes of this test, I will bypass the noise gate that is running on this microphone. I'm also going to record into Ableton using the SM7B. We're now recording into Ableton using the SM7B. This will be our control. I'm going to plug my headphones into this Fifine microphone. Turn up the headphone volume. Now I can hear myself through this. Let's begin recording myself via the USB on the Fifine microphone. Now I'm recording myself both on the Fifine microphone and on the Shure SM7B. You can hear the Fifine microphone has quite a lot of noise if you bump any of these cables. It actually seems to be doing a pretty good job of not capturing my aircon, at least as far as I can hear in my ears. I don't know, can we hear the aircon? Let's turn it off and check. This is no aircon. I don't know, can we hear the aircon? Let's turn it off and check. This is no earcom. Sick. Okay, so this microphone works as a straight up interface. When you have the headphones in here, it's playing back the master output from Ableton, and that can be controlled with the headphone controls. That's pretty cool. They also sent me a XLR cable, which I will use to connect it to the interface. I find it a little bit amusing that the XLR cable comes with a user guide. That's pretty great. Okay, this end into the microphone. This end into the interface. Let's see, turn up. Where's red? Where's red? Where's red? Where's red? Where's red? There. Ooh. Bit loud. Go down a little bit. Okay. Right now we are recording the Fifine microphone with the XLR cable. I mean, this is probably going to pick up the earcon just the same as it did with the USB input. Maybe. I don't know. Right now we are recording the Fifine microphone with the XLR cable. I mean, this is probably going to pick up the earcon just the same as it did with the USB input. Maybe. I don't know. What's it like if I go further back? I mean, I do have a compressor on the SM7B, which is helping even things out. It doesn't seem too bad in terms of picking it up. Yeah. What about directionality? If I go over the side, I come around here, go over this side. What's it like if I go further back? I mean, I do have a compressor on the SM7B, which is helping even things out. It doesn't seem too bad in terms of picking it up. Yeah. What about directionality? If I go over the side, come around here, go over this side. Ooh, you can get it in pink and white. So this microphone is around $75 USD. Compare that to the Shure SM7B, which is 4 times the price, maybe. And this is where you have to ask yourself, is it worth spending 4 times the money to get the microphone? If we search for an Apollo interface, the cheapest one we've got probably around $1,000 USD compared to the Fifine SC1. I'm still confused by this because they call it that here, but the product code is SC1 maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, this is $54 US. Okay, 55 USD. That does affect my opinion of it a little bit. I'm actually glad that I did it a little bit blind before looking up the price. So we've got the Fifine SC1 or Ampli 1 interface. If we're talking USD, this is a $55 interface. I said it feels light, feels plasticky. For $55 though, I haven't tested the outputs, but I've tested the mic. It's got direct monitoring. It's got 48 volts. It's got line and instrument, a combi jack. You know, this is a lot of features for $55. What I really like about it, big fan of these knobs here with the lights that display the input value. I think that's a cool way of doing it. I don't really know about the long-term durability of this product. However, if you're only spending $55, you know, maybe you aren't expecting significant long-term durability. As a quick and easy solution to get going, this seems like a pretty legitimate option actually. It is only bus powered, which is a limitation. However, again, for $55. The only thing that concerns me about this is the quality of the knobs, honestly. These ones I think are okay because they're kind of big and stuff, but I'm a little concerned that I might break this headphone one. If your budget's $55, I don't think this is a bad choice. I'm not super familiar with what else there is at that price point, but I think this performed okay, especially putting it back to back with an interface that is like 20 times the price, maybe, I don't know. And then the Fifine microphone, this sounded good, I think, for a cheap microphone. I like the feature set it has. I like that you can use USB, plug your headphones directly in, use the microphone as an interface. I think it probably performed better when you paired it with the interface and used the XLRs. That way you didn't get as much noise from knocking cables and that kind of thing. I like that it's got the feature here to mute it if you hold it. That's really great. And I think the knobs on this feel better than the one on the interface, but again, I can't comment on long-term durability. But a microphone, if you have on a mic stand or a boom arm or something like this, you know, hopefully you're not swinging it around, knocking it doing anything like that. So durability hopefully wouldn't be a concern. $55 for the interface, $75 for the microphone. That's $130. Honestly, that's not bad. What do I think of these products? For the money, I think they're actually pretty good. Easy to use. I like the feature sets. Can't comment on long-term durability. For the money, kind of impressed. I think I will start mentioning these as an option when I am recommending interfaces and microphones for students to check out and consider purchasing. Once again, Fifine sent me these products to test, but they're not paying me to make this video. If you are interested in checking them out, all of their links are going to be in the description, so you can find those there. And yeah, if you if you are looking for an affordable interface or microphone, I think these are some options you may want to consider. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.